Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Film for Fans podcast, your home for movie news, reviews, and movie fan views, the podcast from movie fans for movie fans. I am your host, Ryan Dunlevy, joined by my co host, Rob Dunham.
Hey, let's talk about movies.
All right, let's talk about movies.
Snowing outside. It's beautiful. I'm
Yes.
ready to talk about some movies. Just got home from work, drive from Lancaster to York in the snow. Felt like I was on the Millennium Falcon, so I'm ready to go.
All right. We got a great show in store for you. We are going to preview the 2022 slate of movies. We are going to talk about an interesting encounter between Tom Cruise and the Ohio State Band. That's an interesting one. I am going to make Rob try to guess the top January releases of all time. And of course, our watch list. All right, Rob, let's kick it off. Here we go. So IGN just put out a list of the 58 movies they are most looking forward to in 2022. So because we are in a new year, because there wasn't a lot that came out in the box office in the last week, I thought this would be a good week to take a look at upcoming movies. And there's a lot of stuff in theory on the slate. It should be a pretty packed slate given all the movies that have been pushed and delayed and all that chaos. So we're going to start out with, and we'll link to the full IGN article that has all 58 of their movies to look forward to. But we thought we would take 5 of them each to, we'll go back and forth on this and pick out some of the movies that we are most looking forward to and give you a little bit of preview of that. How about that, Rob? Does that work?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Why don't you go first on this one?
So I picked movies that I don't necessarily think are going to be the best ones, but the ones I'm looking forward to the most, because there's a difference.
There is.
Because I'm sure there will be a lot of movies that are way better than the ones that I say I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure I'll enjoy watching them. But man, there are some like beautiful, like right in my wheelhouse, probably going to be garbage movies coming out this year that I can't wait. Top of that list, Moonfall. Moonfall, Roland Emmerich.
Yes.
This dude knows how to make a movie about the end of the world.
Yes, he does.
And I love watching large scale destruction of the earth. I don't know why, because the movies are almost always awful. But I can't get enough of watching the oceans rise and drown everyone and volcanoes erupting. And apparently this time the moon is going to fall out of the sky. So that's a new one. I'm pretty sure it'll impact the tides somehow in the movie. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of water. Looking forward to that.
Do we need to have a counseling session about your nihilistic tendencies here?
Well,
I'm sensing something deeper coming out already.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. Just get me off this earth. I don't know. I think the thing I love about it is that it's like a mixture of sci-fi and action that I don't know, because we all wonder what would it look like.
Yeah.
If like the earth exploded, basically. What would it look like if the seas rose to a level that they were, drowning the entire world? This toast is coast. Or, there's so many movies like this. Dante's Peak, 2012, Greenland came out last year. Armageddon. Like, I'm just a sucker for this kind of thing. Deep Impact, obviously.
Yeah.
I find them fascinating, and I think it's because every once in a while I just like to go watch a movie and completely turn my brain off. And this is the perfect movie for that. So, absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to Moonfall.
Yeah, Moonfall is a good one. That almost made my list. I will probably definitely go see it. So the first one for me is Operation Fortune. And this comes out January 21st, and it stars Jason Statham and it is a Guy Ritchie movie. So you get the
Oh yeah.
fifth collaboration between Jason Statham and Guy Ritchie. Also Aubrey Plaza, Josh Hartnett, Hugh Grant, Carrie Elwes. Uh, lots of cast here. And so Statham plays a super spy, Orson Fortune, whose team of operatives must recruit Hollywood's biggest star, Danny Francisco, to help them on an undercover mission to stop a billionaire arms broker. So all you had to tell me is Guy Ritchie and Jason Statham, and I was there. I was instantly interested, and I just enjoy the way Guy Ritchie does movies, and even the ones that are not like quote the typical Guy Ritchie movies, which would be like The Gentleman, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch. Those would be like your typical ones. But he just has an interesting style of filmmaking that I really enjoy. And between him and Statham, it will be good. There will be actions. People will get punched in the face. I love it.
Yeah, I talked about this on a previous episode at one point that there are certain directors who kind of are the pinnacle of different aspects of directing, and I think there's definitely an argument to be made for Guy Ritchie being the pinnacle of ensemble cast interaction.
Absolutely.
Being able to fit in and give enough life and story to each person in the story. Last year's The Gentleman was definitely a really good example of that. And like you said, kind of like a typical Guy Ritchie movie. And man, I'm always up for some Jason Statham. So give me some of that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I love it.
All right, next on my list. One that I'm actually looking forward to that's a little more serious. Death on with Kenneth Branagh reprises Hercule Poirot. He played the character in Murder on the Orient Express, which came out a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. The Agatha Christie detective Poirot, however you want to pronounce it. I don't know how to, so you go ahead. Some people have said that he's not their favorite version of the character as played by some others, but I enjoyed how he portrayed the character in Murder on the Orient Express. Mm-hmm. So looking forward to seeing what this one does. Gal Gadot is in this one as well, along with several others. Russell Brand, very interestingly, is in this movie, and not playing Russell Brand, which I'm praying every other movie he's been. Looking forward to seeing what they do with this one.
Yeah, no doubt. This one was on my list too, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. I really, really wanted to see it because this was one that almost came out in September 2020, and then they pushed it to December, and then it just kept going. It kept falling down the train. So I'm looking forward to finally getting a chance to see Death on the Nile. Excellent. Well, since you took that one, I'm going to go with my next one, which will be Bullet Train, coming out April 8th. And this is from from David Leitch, who was involved in John Wick and Atomic Blonde, two very cool movies that I am a big fan of. And this stars Brad Pitt, Sandra Bullock, and a bunch of other people. And it's based on a novel, Maria Beetle. And it's about 5 assassins end up on a Japanese bullet train and realize all their individual assignments are interconnected. So lots of intriguing assassination plots on a train, going real fast in Japan. What's not to love about that? Brad Pitt is an assassin. That's interesting. I'm curious to see Brad Pitt as an assassin. That's a little bit of a new role for him. I'm curious how he's going to pull that off.
Well, he usually pulls things off, so I would not be surprised if he does well.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's kind of the two type of assassins. You've got the assassins that just kind of like are nobodies that blend in, that do a great job of being invisible, and then you got the ones that are kind of so out there and so outlandish that nobody really I mean, they just are who they are. I'm wondering which reign he's going to fall under, because Brad Pitt is kind of hard. I mean, he's great job playing his individual roles, but he's still Brad Pitt. So I'm curious. Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
I'm also looking forward to Ambulance, which
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain is not going to be a good movie. But I'm looking forward to. Have you seen the trailer for Ambulance
I
yet? I
have.
saw one in the theater the other day.
Yeah.
Um, this movie is directed by Michael Bay,
Yes.
and the trailer, my goodness, this movie looks like a Michael Bay movie from the 1990s,
Yes, it does.
and I just cannot. I can't wait to see this on the big screen, because we have talked before about how that 90s style massive destruction, craziness, zany humor kind of movie is not around
Yes.
as much anymore. So I am very fascinated by what this will be like. Um, I don't think it's gonna make a ridiculous amount of money or anything, but I do think that there will probably be a lot of people like me and you who go out to check it out because of the nostalgia factor. Because it just watching the trailer felt like a time capsule from 1998, and I was like, wait, it's 2022. What
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
And I'm
Yeah.
about it. I gotta say, I'm about it. So I'm
There will
excited.
be many explosions.
Yeah, and Jake
Many
Gyllenhaal,
explosions.
I think, has potential to be to shine in a movie like this too.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So I'm excited to check out Ambulance.
All right. Now, I saved this one to this point, but it just cannot go any further without talking about the unbearable weight of
Yes,
massive talent.
yes, yes. This is on my list too, obviously.
This has to be. There's no earthly way that this is a movie you don't go see. The unbearable weight of massive talent comes out April 22nd. And this is a movie where Nicolas Cage is playing, wait for it, Nicolas Cage.
About
Yeah,
time. About time.
Nicolas Cage is playing a washed up Nicolas Cage who is so desperate for money, he accepts $1 million offer to a birthday party to show up at a birthday party for a Mexican billionaire, played by Pedro Pascal. And then things take a wild turn as Nick is forced to become a version of some of his most iconic and beloved characters in order to extricate his wife and daughter from a fan of the notorious drug lord. So you have Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage, being desperate for money, and then having to play all of his best roles in the movie. How can you not go see this? How is this not already like the Oscar nominations just have to be flowing for this one? I cannot wait.
Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage
Yes.
is the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yes.
And if he does not say, I'm going to take his face off in this movie,
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to be very disappointed.
Yes. And there must be lines from The Rock in there too.
Yes.
There have to be.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait for this. It's going to be incredible.
Yes. Time is a flat circle.
Yeah.
And Nicolas Cage is finally playing the role he was born to play.
Yes, and I'm interested to see Pedro Pascal in another, I guess, somewhat big role here. Obviously, we saw his character in Wonder Woman 84, and some people really thought it was great. Some people didn't think it was great. So I'm interested in seeing the range of him as an actor, see what he can bring to this character.
Yeah, for sure.
One for me too that I think might be one you're looking forward to. If not, I know you'll go see it. Jurassic World Dominion, which is the conclusion of the Jurassic movies. We all know it's not the conclusion. There'll be like 30 more by the time it's done.
Yeah.
Bringing back Sam Lord, Jeff Goldblum, bringing back a lot of the old characters. I'm very much looking forward to what they do, bring those people together with Chris Pratt, etc., from the new trilogy of movies. So we'll see what happens. Apparently, it's supposed to take place 5 years after the most recent Jurassic World movie. So we'll see Jurassic Park and Jurassic World collide. We know there's going to be some epic dinosaur battles, and man, I'm excited to see Jeff Goldblum's character back because I really love his character in the Jurassic Park movie. So, see, I'm just curious. I'm very curious about how they'll tie all this together, because I think when they started the new series, there was an understanding of and recognition of the Jurassic Park movies, because in one of the early scenes, one of the guys in the control room of the new Jurassic World area is wearing a Jurassic Park shirt. Yeah. And she's like, people died there, right? so like they referenced it, but I don't know if the plan was ever to go this way, to bring everything together and kind of make it cohesive. So I'm very, very, like I said, curious. I think is just the only word. Inquisitive. We got to use bigger vocabulary. I'm inquisitive about what's going to happen with this writing here.
Yeah.
Because I think it has the potential to be really good, potential to be really lame. So we'll see.
Yeah, and that's really the factor, isn't it? Like, they really didn't have another idea for after Fallen Kingdom, and I think they were kind of played out on that front. So it will be interesting to see what they can get out of this. Always enjoy, some dinosaurs getting loose, creating havoc, eating a few people. Just good family fun. So
people are delicious if you're a dinosaur.
Indeed. Yes. But it should be fun and interesting. And you are right about Jeff Goldblum. Excellent character, and look forward to seeing that for sure. All right. So my next one on the list is 65. It's the sci-fi thriller that stars Adam Driver and Ariana Greenblatt. And in this story, he is an astronaut who crash lands on a mysterious planet and discovers he's not alone. Interesting. Sam Raimi is also involved in this film, and this is done by the writers of A Quiet Place. They will direct it. So anything that's gonna do like major sci-fi, different planet. Adam Driver, I think, is a great actor, and any sort of kind of sci-fi mystery thriller space venture right up my alley. So I'm absolutely on board with this one. Look forward to hopefully a really good sci-fi epic. So I believe you have one more, right?
I think that was it, because we overlapped on The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Okay. Well, I will throw one more out there, and we can talk about this. I had to go with one of the superhero movies, and so of the superhero movies, the one I'm most excited about is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah.
For reasons we've talked about, the cast is going to be fantastic. Waititi's back to direct, and what he did with Thor Ragnarok was just fantastic. And I hope we get some more of that Waititi magic. And I'm very much looking forward to Thor: Love and Thunder, more so than pretty much any of the other superhero movies coming out. Thor: Love and Thunder is where it's at.
And given that Christian Bale is who he is, I think there's every chance that he may have actually transformed into a real alien for this. So
yes. Very true. Very true. All right. Well, that's a good preview for you about movies coming out this year. So now we don't have to spend a lot of time on our next story, but I thought it was kind of interesting. And Tom Cruise, apparently, via video, met with the Ohio State Marching Band. Now, how did this come about, you may say? Well, on I think it's November 11th or something like that, the University of Ohio State, or Ohio State University, I should say, and get that order right. Marching band did one of their epic halftime shows, which they are known for with their interesting, crazy creations. Performed a Top Gun themed halftime show, and the band throughout the show morphed into everything from like the Top Gun wording, the logo, Maverick. They did two guys playing volleyball, which was particularly impressive, and they created a jet fighter and then flew it, which was really fantastic. But as a result of this, Tom Cruise got wind of it and decided that he was very, very impressed and he was going to do something for them. So he has invited the entire marching band to a special screening of Top Gun Maverick, whenever that comes out here, along with sending them T-shirts that bears the film's logo. And he sent them a letter and a video message, basically thanking them for their excellent work. They played, as part of this, they played some of the hits, like a medley from some of the hits, Playing with the Boys, Mighty Wings, Danger Zone, Take My Breath Away. It's about a 9-minute performance. We'll link to that one too. It's really cool. Did you get a chance to see it?
I've not had a chance to see it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
It is quite fascinating. Like the rocket ship in particular is really interesting because the level of detail they went to, like they had the canopy open when it first starts out, then they close the canopy, then they have some people with like some smoke bombs, and they start shooting smoke out of the back of the rocket, and then the wheels of the jet come up. It's really interesting. They did a fantastic job of it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Not that I ever want to give props to any Ohio State product, but it is what it is, I guess. All right. So any other thoughts on this? I just thought this was really interesting that Tom Cruise would take the time to do that.
Yeah, I think that's really awesome that he would go out of his way to do that, especially doing the advanced screening for them. That's a really cool thing that I'm sure they'll always remember, whoever's involved with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Rob, are you ready to play a game?
Ready to fail miserably at a game. Let's go.
Awesome. All right. So this game comes to us via an idea I had when I was running, actually, believe it or not. And it is the biggest releases from the month of January. So how this is going to work is I will give you a list of the 5. Let's do 5. Okay. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
The 5 biggest opening weekend releases in the month of January. And then your job will be to put them in order. How about that?
That's good.
All right. So are you ready? Do you have something? Do you need to write them down or anything?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
If there's only 5, I've got a pen here.
Okay. All right. So one of the movies is Avatar. All right.
All right.
Another one is American Sniper.
Now, is this how much they made overall or just in the month of January?
It's just their top weekend in the month of January. Okay. So their opening weekend box office numbers for the month of January. So who had the biggest single individual weekends in the month of January? Okay. All right. So we had Avatar. We had American Sniper. We have Bad Boys for Life. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and Ride Along.
Hmm. I'm going to go number 5. Can you give me one more time?
Yes, I can. The movies are Avatar, American Sniper, Star Wars Episode 7, Force Awakens, Bad Boys for Life, and Ride Along.
All right, I'm going to guess 5th, Ride Along, 4th, American Sniper, 3rd, Bad Boys for Life, 2nd, The Force Awakens, 1st, Avatar.
Okay, so that is your list. The actual numbers. The top grossing opening weekend ever for the month of January. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens at 90 million. It did 90 million the New Year's weekend. Number 2 on this list, opening January 16th, 2015, American Sniper. American Sniper came in number 2 at 89, a little over 89 million. Number 3 was Avatar, January 1st, 2010, $68 million for that particular weekend. Number 4, Bad Boys for Life, January 17th, 2020. And that came out to $62 million. And number 5, January 17th, 2014, Ride Along at 41 million.
I think there's a little trick there because Avatar, obviously we know, made ridiculous amount of money.
Yes.
Overall, but it had more staying power, I think, than almost any movie ever.
Yes.
So when you think about how much money it made, I mean, at least I was like, oh, that would be top, obviously, but it was more due to its longevity and how word of mouth and how much it spread and people kept going to see it and going to see it.
Yeah, it had a very long run.
Yeah, I'm not surprised it was The Force Awakens. That would have been my as I had that number 2. I thought it would be close. I am surprised by American Sniper being 2nd. I knew it did well. I did not remember it doing that well.
Yeah, and it's interesting because some of these movies had, because it's just about like the top grossing weekend, the list that I had. American Sniper actually had the number 2 and number 4 best weekends in January because its second weekend did $64 million. And Avatar had the 3rd, 6th, and 7th. And Force Awakens had the 1st and the 8th. So some of these had multiple movies. So technically, like Ride Along was the number 5th movie, but it was the number 9th overall weekend.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was interesting. But that's a pretty good guess because between Avatar and Star Wars, they're 2 of the highest grossing movies of all time. So, yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to cook something up for you for next time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, let's go on. Let's close out with our watch list. Movies that we watched over the last week and our review of them. Rob, what'd you watch the last week?
I didn't see a whole lot, but one movie I did watch again. Actually, there are a couple movies I watched again. The first, we'll start with the okay one, and that was Space Jam: New Legacy, which I watched again with my kids on New Year's Day. We watched that with my kids and our friends, Keith and Jen and their son, Ethan, New Year's evening. I do think that they did a pretty good job with this movie. I don't think it's fantastic in any stretch. But Michael Jordan couldn't act, so LeBron James can't act isn't really much of an insult because neither could Michael Jordan. And these movies aren't really about them acting. It's just the fact that they're basketball players. I do like how they incorporated some more of the Looney Tunes in the new version, and I like how they incorporated some of the other properties from Warner Brothers too. I thought there was some clever use of that. Like the original, they're not great movies. The original obviously has a lot of nostalgia factor because it came out when we were kids. So I always like the original more. But this movie is definitely decent, worth watching if you have kids for sure. And then the other one that I rewatched for the first time in a while was 1917. I watched that with my friend Keith, and he had not seen it yet. And the reason why we went and watched reason why we watched that is because we had recently gone to see The Kingsman in the theater, and there were some scenes in that movie that were reminiscent, like the trench warfare idea that's like pervading 1917. So just seeing those scenes made me want to see this movie again. And man, is this movie good?
Yes, it is.
I can't get over how good it is. The way it draws you in. I've seen this movie, I think, 10 times at least. Every single time I've seen this movie, without fail. And I even said this to Keith before we watched it, and it ended up being true. The movie ends, and I'm like, was that 5 minutes? It's like it draws you in, so it's over 2 hours long, but it draws you in and keeps your attention.
It really does.
Focused on things that it seems like it starts and then it's over.
Yeah.
The tension that is built by the music and how they scored it, how they have this soft music playing in the background, how it builds, and you're expecting something to happen, then nothing happens, which they do a couple times. It's just really, really well executed. And the cinematography is something that for me is mind-blowing how they did this, because it really does feel like just one long shot that you're just following this guy this entire movie. It's really I think that Sam Mendes and who directed the photography of this movie?
Roger Deakins.
Yeah, Sam Mendes and Roger Deakins. I think this will be like the movie they're remembered the most for, probably both of them, because it's stunning, honestly.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I've never seen another movie like it. I don't know if I will.
Yeah, for me, I rewatched The Green Knight, and this is interesting. I ended up buying it on Black Friday because I got it on sale, and it was a movie. It was interesting because I wasn't sure the first time I watched it if I actually liked it, but I went ahead and bought it anyway because I'm like, I just really want to see this movie again. And after watching the second time, I've decided I like it. It's weird. It's not a perfect movie, and there are definitely things where you're like, why did they do this? They could have done this better. But ultimately, like, it's just so compelling. It's so interesting. It's so compelling. It's got that typical like A24 like bizarre oddness to it. But it's just really engaging. And some of the moments, some of the settings and scenery, and just like you're constantly under the feeling of unease throughout the entire movie, which is really kind of a hallmark of A24 movies. But some of the just like the shots where it's just like lonely woods really just create a major atmosphere. It's something. Have you seen this?
I've not seen it, but I love A24, so I'm probably gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth seeing just to at least get someone else's opinion on it. It's something else, let me tell you. The other one I watched was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I had seen it one time before, but I thought, like, you know what? I know there's a new one coming out, which is one of the movies that we didn't talk about. That's coming out this year. I think it's The Secrets of Dumbledore, which is the third in the kind of the Fantastic Beasts series. The second one being The Crimes of Grindelwald. It's okay. It plays heavily off the nostalgia from Harry Potter. It doesn't have much of anything to do with the Harry Potter stories other than it exists within the same wizarding world. But yeah, it's good enough. That's what I would say. There's not a whole lot to it, but it's interesting enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty much my thoughts having seen it the time I did.
I don't think I've seen the second one, which is why I'm watching these now. Have you seen the second one, Crimes of Grindelwald? What'd you think?
I thought that I actually like the first one a little bit more, but
okay.
I think it is good to see the story. It'll be I'm not sure how they're going to handle the whole Johnny Depp not being involved thing, how that's going to play out, and what it will mean for the movie itself. So I'll have to see how that all goes. It has the potential to be kind of a train wreck, so I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. All right, Rob, you got anything else? All right. Well, that is the show, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you check out filmforfans.com to rate the podcast, like, subscribe, do all that stuff, and tell your friends about it. Until next time, enjoy the movies.